Flashing.
Thank you so much. Okay, so what is this?
Oh, Benjamin.
It's a Benjamin.
It's what we call a Benjamin, right? Okay. All right, so this is $100. And these are all different kinds of plastic cards. There's credit cards here, there's debit cards here.
Charge cards.
Charge cards. There's rewards cards, there's gift cards, there's a library card. There's all different kinds of cards here. And there's just so much potential that one of the things I really wanted to talk about is why Americans especially, but other countries too, why Americans are it's so easy for us to get into trouble with credit cards. Now, if this is a credit card, is this credit card going to hurt you? Yes. I mean, if I went swipe along, that would kill you. That would kind of, I could scratch it with it, right? But just sitting here, can it hurt you?
No.
No, just sitting in your pocket, can it hurt you?
Yes.
No, unless you happen to fall on it and end up with numbers imprinted in your butt or something like that. But for the most part, it's just like electricity, right? Is electricity bad for you or good for you?
It's bad.
It'll kill you.
Potentially it could kill you.
It almost killed Benjamin.
Potentially it could, but how many of us use electricity on a daily basis to our benefit? Yes, I mean, I blow dry my hair, I make toast, I cook.
We're using it right now.
Yeah, everyone here is using it for the benefit right now.
Right, absolutely. So it's really on how you use it, right? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's really on how you use it. Well, most people use it differently, and I kind of want to show you something that most adults don't understand. If I put 100 of these in your hand, so Tanner, so imagine you had 100 of them, and or even just this 100, because this is a lot, and I said, okay, you have the power, the availability, the option, the opportunity, you can go spend this $100. Now, it's not yours, but you can go spend it if you want. And I'm not going to give you any instructions. Any what?
Instructions.
Okay. Or even assume that I have to teach you about it because, well, it's your problem. How do you feel holding that $100?
Awesome.
I would submit that all of you would kind of feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
There's a power that comes with the ability to spend money, right? Okay, so here, I'm going to take this out. This card has what's called a credit limit. What's it called?
Credit limit.
Of $1,000, which means that you could go spend $1,000. So now how do you feel?
8 times awesome.
8 times or 9 times more awesome?
10 times actually.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Why do you feel, is this your money?
No.
Okay, it's not your money, but you're saying you're making you feel awesome. Tell me why.
Because it's so much money.
What is it about the ability? You guys can chime in. Raise your hand.
You can buy
It could potentially be that much.
It is. It's the power to spend $1,000, Abby. Maybe you can get your dreams. Remember, this is other people's money. These are all good guesses. All good guesses?
It
Haley.
makes you feel like you can get whatever you want.
It does make you feel like you can get whatever you want.
It
Sophia.
has the ability to produce $1,000.
Worth of stuff. Yeah, just stuff though. Right? Just absolute stuff. So really what I want you to know is bring that up later. But yes, he said assets. So there are times when you can use other people's money. Remember the thing where we talked about spending your money and then spending other people's money? What is this one again? This is spending other people's money. Now, back when I was just a baby in the 40s and 50s, and Ethan's around now, right? Where's Ethan? Ethan, that's his grandma, right? Remind me of Donna's first name.
Nancy?
Nancy?
Yeah.
You and I were just talking back when you were a girl, and there was no, this didn't exist.
None of those available.
Right?
We had to have cash.
They had to have cash. And because they had to have cash, did they ever get into debt trouble? Well, sometimes they did because people were still borrowing money for other things, but they didn't do it with credit cards, that's for dang sure.
Not easy.
Wasn't easy. Yeah, absolutely
You
wasn't
do it,
easy.
you're in debt.
Oh, yeah, absolutely wasn't easy. What I really want you to get out of that is that when you put a credit card into a human being's pocket or hand, for some reason, there's this power to it that shouldn't be there. It's fake, it's artificial, and it's all in your what? When you should be afraid of it. If I put this in your hand, you should go, oh, this is just intense. The responsibility of this is just intense. I don't really know if I want to hold this thing. This is how I want you to feel. Not, oh, cool, I can go spend $1,000, which is how most people get into trouble. Okay?
Well, and another thing is that when you're holding this, are you thinking about this?
Yeah.
No.
Are you thinking, what's in my bank account? What's in my wallet? What's in
Thinking what you
my...
want to spend that on.
You're thinking, gosh, I can buy all the possibilities, all the things that I could get with this, right?
Piddly junk.
Yeah, all the piddly junk that I can buy with this. And so here's another thing, is that who do you think is the perfect target audience for new credit cards?
Teens.
Yep.
And not preteens, non-preteens.
Teens and 20s,
College kids.
college kids.
College kids,
Yes.
yeah.
Sophia, question?
People that have getting their first credit card.
Yeah.
Well, people that get their first bank account. So what happens is that how many of you have bank accounts right now? So, how many of you have bank accounts with $1,000 or more in it? So now, are those savings accounts or checking accounts? Savings accounts. So the moment that you get a checking account, a what type of account?
Checking.
And you have $1,000 or more in it, a marketing machine, one of the biggest marketing machines in the world,
Flicks a switch.
flicks a switch and says, we want this person to have one of these. And so they will immediately start marketing to you. They will actually send you one of these, already with your name printed on it, already with an amount, probably like, say, oh, if you had $1,000 in the account, you might get one with a $1,000 limit, already there, already with your name. All you've got to do is call a number to activate it instantly.
And sign the back of your card.
Sign the back of your card. So guess what happens? When you get one of these in the mail, do you say, ooh, no, I don't want one of these.
I'm gonna cut
Ooh,
it
I'm
up,
gonna
I'm
cut
not
this
gonna-
thing up, I'm gonna throw it away, I'm gonna burn it, I'm gonna get rid of it. No, what do you do?
People don't get it.
My mom gives it to my little sister and says you can play with it.
Oh.
Yes.
My mom
Let's
just
give her
did it.
some.
Probably not after, only after scratching it up and making sure that it's canceled for sure. But what happens is that people say, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to use it.
Right.
I'm just going to maybe hang on to it just in case.
There's an emergency.
Emergency.
Right.
So, and so then they put it in their wallet. Now, what happens? You're, say, with some friends, and you decide to order pizza, and the pizza guy comes to the door, and you don't have enough money. Oh, gosh, that's an emergency. That's a just in case. Well, hey, I have something for that. I can do that. So I'll just take everybody's cash, and I'll put it on the card. And then what do you do with the cash?
Spend it.
You spend it.
But you're the hero at the
But you're
party.
the hero of the
because you paid for
party.
the
You don't
pizza.
you just spent what this cash was for. You just put it on your card, so most people don't apply it immediately to this account to pay it off. They just go ahead and spend that cash. So then, oh gosh, school's starting and I just have to have a new wardrobe. And oh gosh, I don't have the cash for that, but I think that it really is an emergency. So I'm just gonna go spend a little bit of money on that.
We just need a few pair of jeans.
Just need a few pair of jeans,
New coat.
something like that. And, oh my goodness, you practically choke on your turkey bite at Thanksgiving because you realize that the holidays come in December this year. And you have to buy presents for people for Christmas or Hanukkah or New Year's or whatever. Or your friend's birthday that you just got invited to, you really want to go, you don't have the cash to spend, and you really just want to buy them a quick birthday gift. Gosh, that's an emergency.
Everybody, what is it? Emergency.
So, but this is something, yeah, just in case. Well, this is one of those just in cases. So you take this out and then all of a sudden you realize, how in the world could these are just little things. It was just pizza and just a couple of shirts and a pair of pants and a pair of shoes and a birthday gift and some holiday gifts. How could I possibly already have $800 on here?
Because what that means is you borrowed. What did you do?
Borrowed someone else's $800. Do you guys remember when you used to have to go to a video store to rent a video? How many of you remember Blockbuster? Right. So you went in, you picked out a movie. Could you use it for free?
No.
No, what did you have to pay?
Rent.
You had to pay a rental fee. What did you have to pay?
Rental fee.
Well, guess what? When you borrow money,
On a credit card.
and you don't pay off the bill every month, every what? Month. The credit card company charges you a rental fee, and that rental fee is compound interest.
And remember how awesome that seemed if you were getting it? Well, the banks love you for it because they're getting a ton of money. And guess what? Most of the time, people can only afford to pay the minimum payments. And so instead of paying $800, you're like, I'm just gonna pay the minimum payment, which might be only like $50 or $75. And then guess what? That's now that interest is being charged. What kind of interest?
Compound interest.
Yes, that compound interest is being charged. So next month your balance goes up even more. It goes up even more. Yes?
If you say something, can we get the sign?
Not right now. So here's the crazy thing. The average amount of credit card debt in California for people under 24 years of age is $7,800 in credit card debt.
How would you feel if you were that age and you owed $7,800?
$7,800. Now, it gets even worse. The average interest rate that they're charging you is 28.6%. So that means every month that you have money on the account, they're charging you based on 28 cents per dollar per year.
So now, Tanner, Ramsey, which one was when you were? I always get the business.
Tanner.
I was right the first time. Now, how do you feel?
Bad. I don't want the credit card.
Yay! So let's talk about the different kind of cards that are here in the room. How many?
Before you say, because we did talk a lot about these being credit cards, but the first one that you should point out is the card called a debit card. What is it called? Debit card.
This one. This one.
Oh, no, I don't have one.
That's the one. This one. You're better.
This one. Oh, I actually didn't. Can somebody hand me my cell phone over there? That's actually where my debit card's at. This is a business debit thing. Is that? Yeah. Yes, I appreciate that. So this is a debit card. And this is a debit card. Now, notice what is the word that you see on it?
Debit.
You see the word debit back there?
Yeah.
My finger?
What's the word?
Debit.
What's the word?
Debit.
Okay,
Oh,
so
this one's a debit card too. Oh.
what, but does it also have another kind of logo on it? That's kind of known as a credit card?
Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo, it says Visa. So Visa is a type of credit card that people have, and there's another one called MasterCard. So your debit cards will have either a Visa or MasterCard logo, meaning that you can actually use them just like a credit card. However, where does the money come from when it comes out off of a debit card? Yes,
Your bank account.
your bank account.
No.
Can you use it? That's an awesome question. Can you use it if you don't have any in it? The answer is no. What's the answer?
No.
You can only use it just like we use the ATM or the ATM cards when we talked about debit cards. It's attached directly to your account. You can only use what's in there. That's your money.
Unless, did you want to get into this? That's a big story. Let's just say, here's a question.
Then why don't more people use debit cards?
Most people do use debit cards. It's because the allure, what's the word?
Allure.
Allure of the ability to spend money that's not yours. Because this society, did you have a question? Let me answer this one, come to you. Because in our society, we make the idea that we have a lot of stuff mean something to us, right? If you look at somebody that has a lot of stuff versus somebody that doesn't have a lot of stuff, are you judging the person by the person? You're judging the person by how much their stuff they have. I mean, be honest. But what is the truth? How should you be looking at that person?
By their
Yeah,
personality.
by
and
the
their
type of
stuff.
person they are. Are they honest? Are they nice? Are they generous? I mean, what kind of person are they versus what kind of stuff they have? So because in our culture, we are so stuff-oriented, and we have to have fancy cars and fancy houses, otherwise, well, you know, I don't want any of that stuff, and I still think I'm an awesome person. Okay? I don't want that stuff because I don't want what it takes to actually pay those bills. It's like, oh, too much pressure for me. But that's why. Any question, Carmen?
Well, I started rich. And like only when I'm getting like bigger, just like random things, my mom will put money on it. But then sometimes like I use it and it costs more than what I have on it, but it still goes through.
Is it a debit card or a credit card? It's actually tied to an account?
So it charges more than you have. It allows it goes through more than you have.
Yeah, but
Do you know what happens like in your account? Do you know what happens then? Okay, so yeah, now I think we should go into it.
So listen up, because the teams, on the teams that we had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were absolutely amazed by this.
Okay, so what happens is when you have a bank account, especially a checking account, you're either writing checks or you're using your debit card, like a credit card, to pull money directly out of your bank account.
To pay for things.
To pay for things. Well, when you don't have enough money to cover a check that you've written, and you know what happens when you don't have enough money to cover that check? It bounces. Well, there's something to prevent the bouncing from happening, and that's called overdraft protection. What is it called?
Overdraft protection.
And so the overdraft protection will actually help you when you go to swipe the card and you don't have a lot of money, or you go to write a check and you've written a check for too much, or you're not reconciling every month and you start to use money that you don't have. But there's several ways that you can do overdraft protection. The first and best way, and really the only way that you should do it, is have it tied to a savings account that has money in it already. And that way, that savings account is probably not, that you can set it up. Now, every bank will be different, but some banks, like the bank that Elizabeth uses, does not charge a fee when they get money from her savings account to cover the amount that she's done over. However, that's not the most common. The most common is what the banks love. They love you to not have a whole lot of money. because they want to charge you fees. Guess what the most common fee is for an overdraft? Meaning that you've spent more money than you actually have. That's what the common fee is.
Yes.
How much?
Yeah, $5,
No.
$10, $15,
$55.
no,
$50.
$35.
Yeah.
$35. So let's say that, Carly, you go to purchase something that is $100, but you have only $99 in your account. You swipe your card, and guess what? It goes through because you have overdraft protection. What does she have?
Overdraft protection.
But guess what? It's not tied to a savings account. It's just the bank saying, we are going to cover that amount that you've gone over. And for that service, we're going to charge you a fee. So they cover that $1 over, and they charge her $35 for it. So that $100 item costs $135.
Everybody
Now-
go, oh my God.
So now, get this, it's even worse. If you, now, your account is negative by $34, right? Or $36, right? So your account is negative $36. If you don't reconcile with the bank and bring your account current, they're going to charge you as much as $5 a day until you bring it current.
Wow, that's crazy.
A day,
This is
just
not interesting.
a day,
These are just
$5.
fees.
Next day, $5. Next day, $5. Next day, $5
And
for being overdrawn. And every bank's different. The most common fee is $5, although I have seen it as high as $15. Yes.
What if you don't have enough money and the money that you don't have is more than $35? Like, you went to buy something that was $100 and you only had $50.
You only have $50? Well, it depends on what the overdraft protection is for. Some of them will cover the whatever amount you overdraft. Others will cover only a certain amount. Usually it's going to be like $250 or $300 or something of that nature. But the scary thing is that they're gonna charge you that fee automatically. And this gets even scarier. Before I answer that question, this gets even scarier. The other type of overdraft protection, they actually have a credit line.
Which is like a credit card without the, well, actually, sometimes you actually do get the card.
Yeah, so you'll get a credit line, which might be like, let's say $1,000. And that $1,000 credit line now acts just like a credit card. So when they charge that same scenario, where you went to go charge $100, you only had $99, they charge you a $35 fee. They put the $36 onto a credit line, like a credit card. And now you get, what do they get to charge you? Compound interest. So that $36 now is going to get interest charged on top of it.
If you don't
So,
pay it off.
yes.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. There's two things that I'll say about overdraft protection. Number one, every banker, if they're being honest, is going to tell you that the only person it really protects is the bank. And the second thing is, which means, well, the first thing is, it means, so who's it benefiting? Is it benefiting you?
No.
No, it's benefiting the bank. So the second thing is that you need to reconcile and understand. That's why we have the principle. If you can't afford it in cash, you can't afford it at all. Because not right now. That's why the principle exists. Because really, in a case like this, you will pay more for things, even though it seems easy, even though that it's under the disguise, they call it the guise, but I call it a disguise of being helpful to you.
So how do you make sure that you don't ever try to buy something when you don't have the money to buy it? Haley, I'll come to you.
Keep your portfolio up to date.
Keep your account up to date so that you know. Rex had a
I
question.
have a question from before. So for the overdraft,
like if there's a bank that will cover the rest of the amount, what's if you buy like a really expensive car on it and then they like?
Oh, they wouldn't allow that. There's only a certain amount of money that they'll allow you to go over.
Well, the way to keep track of your money is to check your bank account balance regularly.
Yes, do you hear what she said? What did she say? Guys, what did she say?
To check your bank account balance regularly.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And now with the technology that we have today, can you go online and check your balance? Here's the thing though, we really want to make sure that you understand that you should never log into your bank on an app, on your phone, when you're in public Wi-Fi like we have today, ever. So don't go into Starbucks, don't do it at school, unless, well, even if there's a lot. You would want to do it at home when you know that you have a secure, passworded, protected place, or you're hardwired in even.
Or turn Wi-Fi off so that you're making sure that, and I know on most phones you can tell if it has the Wi-Fi connection, using the little Wi-Fi symbol, the little waves, yeah. Or if you're connected via like, LTE or 4G or whatever. So you want to, if you're connected through the cellular network, that's okay. It's going to be encrypted. If you're connected on your home personal Wi-Fi or a Wi-Fi system that you're only connected to, that's not public, then it's okay. That's going to be encrypted. But the moment that you're on a public network, anybody else on that network with the right software and equipment can get your personal information. Be careful.
I'm going back to that credit card thing where they cover up to like $200.
And every bank is different.
Afterwards, so wouldn't you make money if you go $200 over?
You have to cover that. The bank's gonna come back and say, hello, you went over, you need to pay us right now, or we're gonna charge you $5 tomorrow and $5. Oh, and by the way, there's a $35 fee on top of that.
Wait, so
They cover it.
I heard that wrong.
Yes, they cover it, but you still have to pay. Not only do you have to pay, but you have to pay a fee for them covering it for you.
Lots of fees.
So if you go over,
Yes.
I thought that they covered all that money. You didn't have to pay them for that, but you had to pay the other fees.
No, so if you go,
pay $200 and all the other fees.
yes, there you go.
Yes. Why would they pay for you to buy something that?
Yeah, so here's the $200 that you went over, and they're going to charge the $35 fee on top of that. You got to pay it all back.
Right.
I need to go to the bathroom.
Okay, go for it.
Go ahead.
Okay. And so I wanted to talk a little bit more about these two symbols. What was the first one? Visa. What is it?
Visa.
And what's the second one?
MasterCard.
Okay, most people think that Visa and MasterCard are actually credit card companies, but they're not credit card companies. They're actually credit processing agencies. Say that.
Credit processing agencies.
I need everybody's attention up here. Rex, you can't learn something if you're looking over there. Okay. What that means is that they are the connection between the store and whoever issued the card. So who issued this card?
PayPal.
Can everybody's attention here? Who issued this card?
Wells Fargo.
Who issued this card?
Chase.
Right, so who does the card actually belong to? Chase. Right, but who actually processes the transaction? MasterCard, exactly. So you understand that. Raise your hand if you understand that. Okay. Now there are some cards, and I don't think I have one of this actually. This isn't one. There are some cards out there where you can, and most of them are with American Express, where you can actually charge as much as you want every month, and then you have to pay it all off in full. That's technically not called a credit card. It's called a charge card. What's it called? Charge card. And American Express is really big on charge cards. If they're not charging you any interest, how are they making more money? If they're allowing you to charge $5,000 for your business and then you have to pay it off, but there's no interest, do you?
I I'm guessing if you don't pay it back in full after that, they charge you fees.
There are fees, and anybody else guess how they make money on a regular basis?
Actually,
Okay, Bill, do you have an idea?
There's two ways.
yeah, no.
Okay,
There's two
Anybody?
ways.
Sophia?
Do they charge you for the card?
Yes.
Bingo, they charge you for the card. Absolutely charge you for the card.
Charge card companies will charge anywhere from $35 to $150 a year.
Isn't the platinum even more than
But
that?
yeah, I think the platinum is,
Oh, platinum?
Hundreds of dollars.
yeah, several $100s.
And those cards come with a lot of benefits. I know at one point I had one of those cards, and I could, anytime I traveled, I could actually go into American Airlines or United's fancy airline
Oh,
hubs. It was
I love
great.
it.
Yes, Sophia,
isn't there something called a black card?
a black
Yes.
card.
That's just black with your name
I
on
don't
it?
know
Yes.
anything about the black card.
Or the platinum card that's actually made out of platinum and it just has a strip on
Is
it?
that an American Express card?
Yes.
Yes.
Only a couple
American
people have
Express, because people think it's really cool to have an American Express card.
Well, you can buy cars.
Cars, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But here's the thing with charge cards. Charge cards, when do you have to pay those back? End of the month. Every month. So if you, what was that?
What's if you don't pay it?
Then they say, you need to pay us now.
And you
You're
can't
gonna
use
get, you can't use it. You're gonna get fees, and we're gonna call you every day.
They're gonna hunt you down.
They
Pretty
will-
much.
They will hunt you down.
They will hunt
And
you
then
down.
kill you, but no, then they were gonna arrest you because your bounty is worth as much as you owe.
Okay, here's some interesting facts. If you have a Discover card always starts with the number 6. If you have a MasterCard numbers always start with the number 5. If you have a Visa card, it always starts with the number 4. And if you have an American Express card, it always starts with the number 3. Jada.
Why does it always start with 3 and 6?
I have no idea. It's just somebody decided it a long time ago.
Maybe it's because like, it's like
How
how
long time ago?
I think it's because of how like they were made. Like the first one starts with 1, the second one starts with 2. They're not like
It could be actually American Express probably came before Visa and MasterCard. I don't know.
Wait,
Not
Wells
before-
Fargo
Wells
is
Fargo
number
is
6.
6, yeah. Yeah. Come back to you.
Could they all start with their own number so that when you scan them in, it's like, oh, that's that. It starts with 5.
Well, I'm just telling you, that's just a little fact. They all start with, if it's a Visa, it starts with a 4. If it's a MasterCard, it starts with a 5. It's just the deal. And how many numbers are most credit cards?
4. 3.
How many numbers are on
16.
this card? There's 16.
Yeah.
How many are on the American Express though?
23.
Why don't you just press 16?
16.
14. 15. Yeah, there's a little bit less. Now there's also another little number that you need to know. There's a little number on the back, on every card but American Express, and it's actually on the front. On the front on the American Express. It's called a CVV code. What is it? CVV code. Everybody, what is it? CVV code. It's actually a security code. So a lot of times when you're ordering things online, you actually have to put your security code on them. So the question is, should you get a credit card? What do you think? Should you get Jada? What do you think?
Yeah.
I had a question.
Oh, what was your question?
Why is this Visa not a debit card for this?
Because Visa and MasterCard and American Express and Discover, they all have, these are mostly credit cards. The reason they're on a debit card is because it allows you to swipe it like a credit card, except it's coming out of your bank instead of actually, you're not actually borrowing money. Does that make sense?
So they make two cards.
They actually do make two cards and cards, yes. But it's actually not Visa and MasterCard making the card. It's actually the company, the bank, the financial institution that's issuing the card. And there's a ton of businesses that issue cards. Why do you think they issue cards? Marcus, why do you
Because
think?
that's the way they make money?
Yes, a good way to make money, absolutely. Absolutely, great way to, huge thing, great way to make money. Yes, Jake?
Because most people think it's easier.
Yeah, it's a great way to make money. There's a bunch of other cards here. One of my favorite cards is this card. What is this card?
Library.
Why do I love the library card? Sophia.
Because it doesn't have money on it.
Well, why, yeah, but what can I do for free?
You can get any book you want that's at the library.
I know, what else does the library have?
You can get
And it's free.
Audiobooks,
Yes.
Computers.
Computers,
Yeah.
you can use
Wi-Fi.
computers.
Movies.
Movies,
Videos.
videos, absolutely, you get all kinds of stuff, yeah.
Internet.
Huh?
Internet.
You can go to the library and use the internet. Yeah.
I don't know. Library is my favorite place to go.
I love the library. I mean, who else loves the library? Yeah, I mean, why is, you guys know what it costs to buy even a new paperback these days? What, I
The retail price is usually $7.99.
Yeah, and that's minimum, that's a minimum. So why spend that? You could have invested that instead.
There's some books, like just a few days ago, I was looking at books and to buy them paperback or Kindle, it was $13 a month.
Yeah,
There's
a
some
lot.
books that had been out, they weren't new, they had been out for years.
Larry, you had
There was, just in the credit card conversation, you mentioned that there were two ways that they make their money. One was charging fees to you to have the credit card or the charge card. The other way they make tons of money every time someone buys something is,
So anytime somebody buys something, the credit card companies charge the merchants. Who do they charge?
The merchants.
The merchants a fee, the store, the place, the restaurant, the individual, whoever is swiping that card, they charge the merchants a fee for every single transaction.
And it's an expensive fee. Have you ever noticed, well, you guys probably haven't, but your parents will know, that there's a lot of places that won't take American Express. Do you know why that is?
Because it's the most expensive.
They don't want to pay
The
for the
fee
fees.
is the highest, yeah.
Yeah.
Fees range anywhere from like 1.25% to as much as 5%, depending
Yes.
on the how that transaction.
When many of your parents, when they paid, oftentimes I had the question, can I send you a check? And I said, yes, of course. Why would I love for your parents to send me a check rather than just getting a debit card right there?
Because it doesn't increase, like, you don't get interest.
Well, don't get any interest in Marcus.
So it's not complicated, and you said earlier that you can, it's easy for you to deposit the check.
It is easier, but there's a specific reason why I prefer a check over a credit or a debit card. So, there's no fees.
Exactly.
There's no fees, yes, because my company ends up having more money to do other things with.
Is this a charge?
And
That is a credit card.
if you actually have to swipe the credit card,
Uh-huh,
and your checks you don't have to swipe.
exactly.
It's half of a credit card.
So I'm going to talk about this. What is this? Everybody, it's a different kind of a card. Levi and Rex.
Awesome.
There's a
That's a
quiz.
gift card.
There's a quiz later. Okay, what is this, guys?
Gift card.
Gift card. Let's talk about gift cards. Why
How many of you have ever received a gift card before?
did you actually use all of the whole amount on the gift card?
Yes.
Did any? There was some no's, yeah.
I did.
So what happened? Why did merchants and stores love to sell gift cards?
Because that's a guarantee that it's going to be their stuff they're buying, not going to another store
That
and buying.
That is one of the reasons, absolutely one of the reasons. Yes, Logan?
Based on what you just said, because people don't use all the money.
People don't use all the money.
It's rounded up.
Oh, yeah.
Kelly?
But they can always sell it in, an amount that can't be, like, evenly divided?
Like $20 or $30. Yes, and Darren's favorite thing
Very
is,
good order.
let's say this gift card was $20, right? And I go in because I need a couple shirts for my granddaughter or whatever. And I find 2 shirts and it comes to $23. Who pays the extra $3?
You do.
It doesn't Target like that? I mean, I wasn't gonna come into the store anyway. They've already got the $20. Now they're getting $3 more from me. Yes, Sophia.
One time, I got a gift card and I spent, it was a $75 one and I spent $74. But they took the gift card from me and just gave me $1.
Oh, they gave you $1, yeah. Very cool, but that doesn't happen very often.
So I think, is this where you're trying to go? Like, why they like gift cards so much is because people, there's a good chance there's a pretty high chance that people will either spend all their money and go over or not spend all their money and leave like a few dollars on the gift card. Like, let's say it's a $30 gift card, you spend $25, there's $5 left. You come back there 4 weeks, 3 weeks later, and you see this thing. Okay, I really want that. It's $25. Or, yeah. And you spend the $20 extra. You go in there because you want to spend that
It's a
$5 on the
Absolutely.
card.
Absolutely, absolutely brilliant.
Or you don't
Absolutely.
spend it at all.
These are the last 2.
That's fabulous,
These
fabulous.
are the last 2.
Bill.
Go ahead.
Another thing is sometimes you get a gift card to something you have like no idea what it is and you don't use it, and then they're pretty much just selling you a piece of plastic for like $30.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
they
there
have
is a-
money, you don't have their stuff, they're happy, you know?
There's a large percentage of people that don't use the card.
Yeah.
Can you ask for the money in cash on the credit card, on the gift card, I mean?
Most of the time, no. Most of the time, no. There is an aftermarket, like if you look on PayPal or Craigslist, people are selling gift cards, but there's also danger because there are people that sell fraudulent gift cards too. So, but usually they don't sell them for the face value. So if there's $100 in the card, you might, find it online for $75 or $80, something of that nature. So you get, you don't get the full amount from it. But the last one.
Are there some not credit cards, gift cards that you can renew the money on them?
Yeah, so there are prepaid credit cards. What are they called?
Prepaid credit cards.
Or gift cards where you can add money to them over and over again.
This has become my favorite card.
It's upside down.
Blender's card. Yes, we've been going to Blenders every day because we don't have a lot of time before or after we do this, and I just make it away. So I've just been splurging. It's been, what jar am I taking the money out of?
Play.
So one of the last things that I want to talk about credit cards is.
Metro or bus might work that way too.
Points.
Get the card.
Yeah, this is,
Just work. Okay. So one of the things that some people will do, especially wealthy people, that will where they will use credit cards, they will determine how much money they spend every single month by having a spending and savings plan, having a budget, having a what?
Budget.
And they will actually have a credit card that is something like this. So this is a Chase Rewards card. What is it? Rewards card. So the rewards are going to be either points, sometimes they're miles, like airline miles, or hotel points. All the major car companies have their own version of a credit card where you actually, every dollar you spend, you get points and dollars towards purchasing one of their cars. So what someone will do is instead of using cash, they know that they're going to spend a certain amount every month. And so they'll use that on cards that actually give them something back. Rewards points, cash back, miles, different things that will give them rewards. And then when the bill comes, they pay it in full. They do not let it roll over to another month because if they do, then they get charged interest. Interest. What do they get charged? Interest. Yes.
So, they do this with a lot of small things too, like just when you really look into it, they do this with a Keurig coffee. Like you get rewards and points with just that.
And if it's something that you use, I was going to show you guys this. For instance, Staples. You guys know what Staples is, right?
Yeah.
Well, do I buy office supplies for my business? And if I use this reward card or whatever it is, business rewards, I actually get free money from them. I actually get a check often. I get coupons all the time. But I actually sometimes I'll spend enough, then I get a check. I mean, I'm gonna buy stuff anyway, so I might as well get a free check and then I can cash it and buy some more stuff. So why not, I say. I love free money. Say, I love free money.
I love free money.
Tanner.
How much is the check?
You know, it's usually $5 to $10.
It's, well, a lot of times it's based on what you have, it's how much you spend. So what is this card? Costco card. So here we go. My Costco card looks like this. It's an executive member. This you get, I don't remember if it's 1.5 or 2%. 2%. So you get 2% of all of your purchases that they pay annually. I usually get a couple hundred dollars check every single year from them because I buy as much as I can from them of the things that I need, not the things that I want, but the things that I need. So I will buy things from them, and I will even buy things for my businesses, and then Costco gives me 2% back in cash. And they don't charge me, all they charge is an annual fee, and that fee is made up for well over than by that 2% coming back to me.
So Darren, do you think that they actually have to have a credit card? I mean, what do you think? What do you guys think? You have to have a credit card? Should you have a credit card? Are there reasons to have a credit card? Yes.
What do you think your reason is?
Emergencies.
Well, true emergencies.
No, you don't need a credit card for emergency because you have a system. You have a what?
System.
And you're saving up money for the just in cases. Yes.
So,
Should you have a credit card?
well, one good reason is because if you don't have enough money with you and you have your credit card, that and like there's something you really want to get, you know, you've got a good amount of money on your credit card, and that's something that like.
Just the danger is with what you said. There's one word that you said that sends off my alarms, and that you said if it's something I really want, it's not something that you need it. I know. So it's something I really want. That's what happens for the majority of people. They're out and about in the world and they see, oh gosh, I really want that, or I have to have that, or that's on sale, and it's not how much I spend, it's how much it's not how much I spend, it's how much I save, and which is wrong. And so they say, oh, it's on sale, and so I'm going to get a discount. I need to buy that. But you know, the reality is that you're not planning at that point. And because you're not planning, it's just like the story that I talked about. When you get that credit card, the next thing you know, you have a balance that's higher than you think, and you're not able to pay it off in full. Yes.
If you have a credit card and you forgot your cash at home and you need something, then you can just like a debit card, so you can just pay with.
If you have a debit card, that's why people do it. But if you have your credit card and you forgot your cash, you should reevaluate your system and you should think better and go home and get your cash.
Tom, listen.
Well, it's probably not good to have too much cash on you because you could lose it or you could get pickpocketed.
Do you know that one of the habits of wealthy people is wealthy people tend to carry a lot more cash? A lot more cash with them because they feel very secure about it. They know exactly how much cash is in their wallet. We're going to get into some habits about cash in your wallet. Just really, really interesting. But generally speaking, the wealthier you are, the more cash you're comfortable carrying.
Yes.
It's just a fact.
But that's what a debit card's for as well. I mean, it's still gonna have that same kind of protection if you don't actually want to carry the cash on you. Oh, there is a reason, and we'll talk about this more later in the week, but there is a reason. One of the reasons why you would want a credit card is that eventually you might be considering buying a house, where you purchase a house, or you may purchase a car on credit if you've planned for it and it's in your expenses, you've saved up for it. You might want to consider doing that, and when you do that, they're going to run your credit. Gosh, that's really weird. Run your credit? What does that mean? Run your credit card? No, they're not going to run your credit card. What they're doing is they're looking to see how credit worthy you are. What is it? Credit worthy. Say that with me. Credit worthy. And the way they do that is through 3 companies that have a standardized way of looking at who you are. It's a picture of who you are and how well you manage money.
It's like a grade for how well you pay things back.
And that grade is called a FICO score. What is it called?
FICO score.
And that score is, there's 3 companies that create a score. Those companies are Experian, what is it?
Experian.
Equifax.
Equifax.
And TransUnion, thank you. TransUnion, what is it?
TransUnion.
So those 3 those 3 companies will create a credit score based on how long you've had credit, like how long you've had a credit card, or how long you've had a cell phone, or some utilities actually report to the credit agencies. How long, so the longevity, how long the account has been open, how much debt you have. So if you have $1,000 worth of debt, that actually is, okay. But if you have charged $900 on it, then that's 90% of your available credit. So that's not very good. They want the amount of credit that's charged versus the amount of available credit that you have to be less than 30%. How much?
Less than 30%.
Yes. So and then so their ideal credit for someone to have a really good grade using a FICO score would be somebody that has a house, a car, and 2 credit cards with no more than 30% on them. Now, that is subjective. What is it?
Subjective.
What does that mean?
It depends.
It kind of depends, guys. It depends on perspective. Part of the reason why I say that is that the 3 credit agencies are very, very tight-lipped. They're very, very secretive about what actually is the process by which they determine your credit, your score. Yes?
My mom and dad say they have a bunch of old credit cards when I asked them before to make their credit score higher.
Absolutely, and that's because the length of time that they've had that credit, that means that there's a long period of time that the banks say, oh, they've been trustworthy. They've been able to keep those accounts active and in good working order and generally with low balances. So when people come to me and they talk to me about how they can improve their credit scores, and we look at their whole portfolio or their whole picture, and I see that they have a lot of credit cards, I don't tell them to cancel them. I tell them to attach them to their statements and put them in a file and pay them off, and eventually, once every 6 months, pull them out, charge a tank of gas, pay them off at the end of the month, put it back. And slowly over time, that will help to build up credit. Now, that's not the only thing that I do, but if they have a lot of debt on credit cards, I want them to get into a habit of, because we're talking about habits, I want them to get into a habit of not spending as much on their credit cards.
You know how people
But
have
not
a history
canceling.
of something, so it's called your credit history. What's it called?
Credit history.
All right, so the last thing that we're going to do is I'm going to share something that I ask myself when I really want something. Raise your hand if you've ever really wanted something. Parents, have you ever really wanted something? Raise your hand. Yeah, really wanted something. So I ask myself this question. Do I really need to buy it today? Say it.
Do I really need to buy it today?
And if the answer is no, which it almost always is, I leave the store and quite honestly, I usually never think about it again. It's like gone. So it's just right there. You just want it, you want it, you want it. But if you ask yourself the question, what's the question? Do I really need it today? And it's amazing how often the answer is no, and then you'll never think of it again. So this is what I want you to do. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break so you can put your chairs back, and then we are going to play the most fun game you've probably played in weeks and weeks and months. So take a quick 5-minute break. Wait. People in the middle. Let's take everything we just learned. All right, let's seal it in. Logan, take one.
Don't put all your financial eggs in one basket.
Don't put all your financial eggs in one basket.
Sophia.
If you can't afford it in cash, you can't afford it.
Amen.
If you can't afford it in cash, you can't afford it at all.
Say that one.
Save early, save often.
Save early, save often. Abby.
Financial success comes from managing risk.
Financial success comes from managing risk, not avoiding it. 1, 2, 3.